I wanna hit higher ranks.
Sure, sure.
Uh,
How long have you been playing Overwatch?
I've been playing since it first came out, but that was back on console,
Okay, okay,
and then I
cool.
switched to PC on Overwatch 2.
Okay, cool. How's the transition gone? It's been almost 2 years, but
I like it way more actually. I think PC is way more fun than
yeah,
console.
makes sense. I just feel like the movement's so much harder with console. So
Yeah,
much
it
harder to
is.
move around.
It
Yeah.
was. Yeah, I used to play. I was like Cassidy one trick on
Mm,
console. So
Any transition to tank? Is that by team need or by choice or what?
yeah, it's because nobody wanted to play tank, so I just pressed her queues.
All right, sure, sure. So with the team that you're on right now, you are tank main. Is this just like you guys competing in local, like just small tournaments, or just do you have any aspiration for the team, or
Well,
just friends, or what?
my first team, we actually competed in a WCS,
Oh, nice,
and I think we hit like somewhere in the 50 range, 50th
nice,
place.
nice. That's awesome.
Uh,
That's awesome.
yeah,
That must have been
I
fun.
think I think you coached the team in the WCS, didn't you?
Yeah, kind of. We,
Yeah.
we, we kind of screwed around a little bit. It's just a bunch of streamers like scrimming like once a week and just playing random comps. But yeah, it was. But yeah, we had fun with it. Okay, so tanks here. What are we going to be looking at today in terms of gameplay? I want to finish up looking at your form, but what are you seeing so far? What do you think?
I think there's a lot of Ramattra games because I play like a crap ton of Ramattra,
Mm,
and but there is also some Winston and Diva.
mm,
No, actually,
mm,
not that much Diva. Actually, more Winston and Sigma. That's what I meant.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Is that how often do you scrimmage with the team that you're with right now?
Uh, right now we're actually looking for another main support, so we're kind of
Oh,
on a
okay,
break.
that
But
makes
I think
sense.
we're scrimming. Usually we scrim every day
Oh,
except for
really?
Friday. Yeah,
Wow,
except for
that's a
Friday.
lot. That's a
I
lot.
know.
What's the average SR?
I think it's Masters.
Really? That's a lot for a Masters
Yeah.
team. Okay.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. Well, yeah, we like. I guess we like playing a lot. So.
Yeah, makes sense. Goals for you, you
Yeah.
say at least the time of the form, you're like going to hit top 500. Long term can maybe play at least at a semi pro level. Makes sense. What you have to get out of the session, find out what I'm missing with some dive tanks. I just feel like I peel with my dive too much. I have to learn what is stopping me from being able to hit top 500 GM. Is that still the case, or do you want to look at something different?
Oh, that's still the case. Yeah. I feel like I know I got told that for my Winston I peel too much when he's
Mm,
really not
mm,
meant for that.
yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah. Now in terms of playtime right now, you said around 2 to 3 hours a week. Is that still, or 2 to 3 hours a day? Excuse me. Is that still the case?
Yeah, usually. Except for weekends, yeah. So
Yeah, playing a little bit more, I assume, on the weekends. And
yeah.
is that scrimmaging when you guys are scrimmaging, and then like a little bit ranked here and there? Like, how is that usually structured?
Yeah, it's usually scrimmaging and sometimes I play like an hour or two of ranked
Okay.
after. It
Sure.
depends. So it might have been more like 4 hours a day, maybe.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. I would say if you could have the choice of how you would structure your playtime, I would lean into something like a ranked game or two leading into the scrimmage. I don't know if you do that normally, but as being kind of
Uh,
like a bit of a warm up, right?
yeah. The problem is I usually right from work I get straight into
Okay,
scrimmaging. So
okay, okay. Then disregard. That's fine. Then that's totally fine. Does your ranked hero pool mirror your scrimmage hero pool, or is it a little bit different?
no, it does. It does
It
mirror my
does. Okay,
scrimmage.
perfect, perfect, perfect. And then what would you say are like your main tanks? Like, what tanks do you play the majority of?
Ramattra, Winston, Diva,
Perfect.
Sig.
Okay,
Yeah, that's
perfect.
about it.
I see Roadhog in there. Give him the axe. Let him out to the yard. Right. Even with how much you're playing right now, I think that like the smaller the hero pool, the more mechanical growth you'll make from those characters. And
Yeah,
I would avoid even. I assume Sigma's more of a niche pick in your scrim stuff as well,
yeah. When they want to do a poke comp, I have
like
to go
Circuit or
Sig.
something.
So yeah, Circuit or
Yeah,
Havana.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine. So just make sure that that's when you're playing Sigma and ranked as well, that you're not letting them bleed into other situations. Because if you think about it, like Ram, Winston, Diva, it's always going to be at least something decent, right? No matter like what the comp, what the map, right? So even if it doesn't feel optimal, like if they're playing Roadhog on Dorado, you're like, oh man, I just want to play Sig. No, force the Winston, force the Diva, whatever makes the most sense in the situation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay. I put Roadhog there because sometimes on ranked I play Roadhog
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
when
yeah. Well,
yeah,
yeah, like I said, give
just
him the axe. Give him the axe. Give him the
okay.
axe. Stick with Ram, Winston, Diva,
All
and
right.
occasionally Sigma on the right maps if you can. Make the progress that you need with those characters.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then obviously if the meta changes and Ram's like really bad and you want to drop Ram and pick up Roadhog, I'm fine with that. Like legit, I just don't
Okay.
want you playing more than 3 characters mainly at any point in time. And those 3 characters can always change, just at any point in time.
Okay. Yeah.
Highly
I know
recommend that.
majority of my time I'm playing Ram because I'm so comfortable with him. Because in season 8 I one tricked him to GM,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah. I don't know. I enjoy playing Ram a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if you like playing him, go for it. But obviously, it depends on like where you want your strengths to be. Because if you're like, I want my dive tanks to be leveled up a little bit, well then, you need to play them, right? Like you need to play them
Yeah.
more, right? And I think that I noticed that sometimes with my back in the day with my Ana Zen balance back in 2018, I really wanted to play a lot of Ana Zen, but my Zenyatta was just honestly better. So what I had to force myself to do is kind of play like a 55-45, 60-40 split until my Ana had caught up with my Zenyatta, right? And that wasn't very fun. I could have won more games the other way, but ultimately I actually got to the point where my Ana and Zen were good. And the only way to do that is to actually force it a little bit here and there. You can't
Okay.
always fall back into strengths if you want to improve on those other things.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, I'll start doing that more then.
Okay. Do you have a warm up routine or you just jump right in?
Uh, sometimes I do Vex
How long?
uh like 10 minutes.
Perfect. I would cut it even
Yeah.
shorter. Here's what I would say: do Vaxta every day, but do it for 2 minutes or three
Okay.
minutes. Like literally, not even
Okay.
joking. It's just to wake yourself up, right? I think Vax
Okay.
is just so unbelievably boring that people don't want to do it. But it's part of the problem is because they make themselves do it for too long. Just do it for a shorter period of time, right?
Okay.
2 minutes is fine. Like that's a lot of shooting. That's more shooting than you're going to get in like an entire ranked game, right?
Yeah.
So just 2 minutes is fine. 3 minutes is fine. And they have the timer in there as well, right? So just follow that. And
Okay.
especially when you're saying like my mechanics are holding me back the most, just spend a couple hours, make sure that you're warmed up. And then one other thing as well, I don't know how easy this is to do in like a scrimmage environment, but when you're playing ranked, make sure that you're getting up from your computer between every ranked game as well, and just moving around, getting some water,
Okay.
just while you're in queue, right? 60. I know the queues for tank are relatively short, but just get up, grab some water, stretch your legs, do a couple push-ups, check the mail, you know, punch a hole in the
Yeah.
drywall. Like I don't care. Like whatever you feel like doing. Like just whether you're tilted or not. Like even if you had a great game and you're not tired, just take the 60 seconds. I think it's really important.
Yeah, I know. I have a problem with that sometimes because when I go on a win streak, I want to keep going until I lose, basically.
Yeah, but
Which is
you're not breaking the trend. Trust me.
yeah.
You're just
Okay.
reinforcing it by making sure that you're going to be even more locked in because you gave yourself time to like think through the previous game, not looking at a Twitter screen or YouTube or just trolling around in deathmatch, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't sprint for an hour, right? Like
No.
take the
Yeah.
time to even if it's just 60 seconds, do it. You said mechanics, I think, are holding me back the most, although only really Sigma and Diva really matter for the mechanics. I also believe my understanding on how to play dive is shaky. I guess we'll look at that as well. Okay, I don't really have any other questions from your forum. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, that's I
Now,
think yes.
perfect. I want to look at the codes if you have the codes still.
Yeah, I do have all the codes.
Perfect. Because I know that you
Yeah,
said you had recorded them. I don't hope they didn't get buried, but yeah. Yeah, I think
no,
it's
yeah,
nice now.
they're
Like,
here.
what is it, like 50 codes now that they'll save?
Yeah, no, it's a lot.
It's
It's really nice.
crazy now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see.
I can look at all my losses. It's awesome. That's great.
I also put what heroes I played on them here. I sent it to you.
Brilliant. What one do you want to start with here? We'll probably have time for two.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Oh yeah,
we
I
can also
could.
zoom through them. Like if you're like, I really want to get through a little bit for all the characters, we can also approach it that way. It's totally up to you.
Okay, I think I can bolt since it has the
Okay.
most heroes
Sure.
in,
Sure.
in one game.
Sure.
And then
Zarya, you're raising my eyebrows here. What's going on with
I,
Zarya?
it's because they want to. I kind of swapped.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. See, like you look at that and you're like, okay, what's the one situation in which you'd feel the need to counter swap an Orisa? It would be third point and first point, right? And
Yeah,
frankly, I think Ram's fine. I think Ram is fine in Orisa. It doesn't always feel amazing, but you can like your and Nemesis farm really messes her up. And she's a lot weaker than she used to be as well. I don't think the Orisa versus Ram matchup is a counter matchup in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
So I think you could poke her out pretty heavily, and then timing your ability to, like, 'cause you actually have speed on your brawl form is the key thing. She doesn't. She's slower in a brawl form, right? So, I mean, Zarya is good on first and third point, but yeah, I don't think it's necessary.
I do want to mention, like in the beginning, we kind of do roll them until third point, and we
Okay.
get stuck really hard.
Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
why,
That's fine.
yeah, that's
Any gameplay or unrelated questions that you weren't able to get out before we go? And I don't want to zoom past anything you might have had to ask.
no, I can't think of anything right now.
All right. If anything comes
Any
up, just let me
questions?
know.
Okay, I will.
So I'm going to make a very fatal assumption, potentially, just in the sake of expediency. I'm going to assume that you kind of have a general idea of how to play this character. I'm going to assume you have a general idea of how to play Winston. I'm going to assume if you have a general idea of how to play D.Va. If I at any point say anything and you're like, wait, what? Just let out like a whimper or a blood-curdling scream, like one or the other, and I will go, oh, wait a second. Maybe we should stop and like figure out, make sure that we're on the same page here. All right?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Right, Winston. Okay, so this shield is for the TP.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
They called that, so I
Yeah,
just
okay, I
went
was
along
gonna
with
say
it.
that's a freaking really early shield, but then I saw the TP. I'm like, oh. Okay. We're just gonna zoom. If I see anything, I'll let you know. At this point, it's just basically just mechanics because the strategy was fine. Brilliant.
Oh, yes.
Unfortunate with the vortex. Good chase. Obviously, be careful because of where your team is. Rotating to high. Zoning vortex. Saving your Mei. Obviously, overextension from you, but it's an overextension because your Mei overextended and you were trying to help your Mei. So I'm going to cut you some slack. And you punish it because you were actually there to help. I respect it. Positioning is contextual around where your team and the enemy team is. Your team is pushed up, you need to push up too. That was good. You heard the BAP. BAP isn't there. That's okay. The idea is fine. And we're just going to keep zooming. No. Your tank matchup as Ram is like fine. And especially versus a Winston, it's fine. But you're not going to catch him. You shouldn't catch him. Even if you did catch him, you're giving up so much freaking space out of this choke right now. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I re-looked at my VOD because I looked at some of these before and I was like, oh, I should have not chased this Winston when I did this.
Yeah. It's basically like with Ram, the answer of who to shoot is always convenience, right? Like oftentimes it will be tank because you're just really slow. But if you have the opportunity to pressure squishies, you need to be going for squishies here. And right now, you will have the opportunity to go for squishies. All this Winston's going to do is he's going to get this jump that he wants. He's going to get the primal that he wants. And we're dealing with the, oh, you're peeling too much on Winston problem, but on Ramattra.
Okay.
Because look at what you're losing here. This is the threat. This is the threat. This is what you're equipped to deal with, not only as Ramattra, but a Ramattra with annihilation, right? Yeah. This is your job. This is your responsibility. You can't really help here. This engage does not look any different than it had it if you had just let her do it by herself, right? What did you do? Force Primal Rage 2 seconds faster, right? It wasn't, you didn't do much, right?
Yeah.
And she's dead. You know, like, thank you for helping. I appreciate it. Really, your Mei is the only one that actually tanked for you. She's the one that held everybody in the choke, right? But obviously, that was going to be whatever. You were only going to win through trades. Now, if you had a Zarya bubble there, maybe you drop it on your Ana. But even then, you actually have to be really careful about... Backline trades are really important. Let's put it that way. As a tank.
Okay.
And controlling backline. Playing to your strengths. Okay. I want to talk about this. So a couple things here. First off, cart, person, and spawn. All right? You got that. Second thing. I don't want shield to be used predictively in the vast majority of circumstances. I want it to be used in reaction to pressure that you're taking.
Okay.
The exception to that rule is crowd control. You got a sleep dart to worry about or an anti-nade, understandable. Roadhog hook, understandable, right? So when I see you turn the corner here, I'm thinking, oh, sleep dart, roadhog hook. Wait, it's a BAP. What the frick? You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you could afford to take damage before you shield. Because what's going to happen once you drop shield? You're going to stop taking damage. And then what are your supports going to do?
Heal.
They're going to heal you. And in addition to that, what if you turn the corner here and there's nobody here? You've just wasted your cooldown, right?
Yeah.
I want you to take action and then to let your vortex and your shield complement that action instead of using the cooldowns first and then taking the action afterwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
The one exception to the rule, like I said, is the like forms of crowd control. And I guess to a lesser extent, something like a Widowmaker headshot, which would just take a huge chunk of your HP immediately. But for the most part, you don't want to be using the cooldown like this.
Okay.
Just shoot a little first, then shield. Because what will happen is you'll also make yourself kind of juicy. You'll make yourself look like bait. Like, oh man, this Ram's not even shielding. Let's shoot him. You drop shield, all of a sudden that shield is just getting pummeled, right? So it's doing exactly what you want it to do. It's just a resource management tip. Okay. And my major concern here is that I know you're probably in communication with your team here, but okay. I was a little bit concerned with how far away your team was. Yeah. I would have preferred that entire push to be like half a second later, but like you were on the same page with your team. It worked. I don't care. Okay. You kind of see it here, right? Obviously, again, you're pushing too far beyond your team. But in terms of your resource management, this is better. Why?
Because,
Look at it again. You took action, right?
Yeah.
Then you shielded. Now you did get chunked. Let's not lie. But you see how much longer it allows you to hold. I mean, even in terms of how long you can hold the position, right? Like you can hold the position, hold the position, hold the position because you shot, shielded, shot instead of just shielded, shot, right? The only thing here is just more a question of backline awareness, right? You cannot take this rotation. Now, you need to wait at least a full second until your team can rotate with you, right? You're basically fighting by yourself right now.
Okay.
And you see, that's what happens. You see it? You get your Nemesis form forced way, way too early. Reasonable. Action, then shield. Then Vortex. Now you just need to live. Yeah, this is good. This is good. I mean, I have no problems with this, I think. I think the way that you played this one was fine. You pushed. You shielded. You Vortexed. Why did you shoot tank? Because that's all you could see. Now, maybe if you were a little bit more aware here, you would have caught the Cassidy on the angle. Something to keep in mind. But beyond that, it's all right. I think even here, right? What do you think about these cooldowns here?
I probably didn't need shield there.
Probably didn't. Why?
Because I had beat.
Right. So then, what would you do with what would you do with the shield and the vortex then?
Use it for my team.
Yeah, use it for your team or just take more space with it, right? Like let's walk in. Like we've got to beat. We need to go. Like something needs to die now. So look at the battlefield. Get a vortex. Get a shield down. And have a purpose with it too, right? Like, be very purposeful with how you use your cooldowns. They're way too long for you to just use them for the sake of using it.
Okay.
I think RAM cooldowns are really where you start to separate people. That's where you separate yourself as a Ramattra, is how you're using your cooldowns, where you're using your cooldowns. Because anybody can throw a vortex here.
Yeah.
Anybody can throw a vortex here. But you know what takes skill? Here's what takes skill. Sitting here and deciding if you should use vortex at all. And if you do vortex right on the payload, jump up and over and try and knock this guy's head in. And then drop back if you fail, right? Remember, the cooldowns complement the action. They allow you to push, they allow you to kite. Both of them, really, both vortex and shield. And this just feels like, oh, isn't it pretty, you know? It's zoning, I guess. I mean, it's not like it doesn't do anything. Of course it does something. It's just the question is, could it do more? At this point, you just need to disengage, yeah. Okay, I'm going to give that a zoning vortex because you're trying to bail your brig, I think, so I'm okay with that. This is just cooldown mismanagement. I think you thought that you had shield and you didn't. Maybe you did. No, you did. You just did it a little late here.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what we talked about, but it's a little bit to the opposite extreme, right? Just a little bit. So then that forces 2 cooldowns when I only needed 1. That's unfortunate. Do not throw your vortex out right now. I'm gonna lose my mind if you do. Why? Why would it be bad?
Because there's no. I'm low on health and I can't even go
There's
forward.
Now, if you wanted to throw vortex out so that they wouldn't peak and then you could regenerate health, that'd be fine. But I think the best bet here is just to get to a corner, right? And then if they push you, they're pushing into vortex. Or if you want to push them once you get your health back, now you have vortex, right? See, now the vortex matters. You see that?
Yeah.
Now the vortex matters. Now the vortex matters.
Okay.
I mean, obviously your venture dies instantly, which is really unfortunate, but the idea behind the vortex was good. And this is the thing with ramp. You have to do the... Okay, so where should this shield place? Where should this vortex place? Be specific.
The shield should be behind the Orisa so that she doesn't get healed.
Okay, so you could split the Orisa and the BAP and the Ashe, right? It's not just for the healing, though. It's also to block damage on you, right? Okay.
Yeah.
What about your vortex?
Vortex.
Be specific.
Also behind the Orisa. So
I disagree. No? I think with all the things that you can see on your screen right now, why would you choose the Orisa? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm behind the Orisa.
Oh, as in like here, as in like here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I thought you meant like vortex Orisa. I'm like, oh, son of a gun.
No, sorry.
Okay, so let's see it. No, it's okay. Shield's fine. I think should have been a little bit deeper, just a little bit deeper. But honestly, it's not bad. Now I want you to be precise with your vortex. Okay, so you're gonna go for the Brig instead. Not the correct target given where the backline was positioned, and considering the fact that she has bash, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But at least you had a purpose. So I'm gonna give you a B-. All right. Yeah, at least you had a purpose with it. You know that puts it already better than probably 30 or 40% of your vortexes so far. And it works, right? Like it's unfortunate again that you guys are down one, but you know. It breaks her shield. It puts her in a really bad spot. Bat panics. That forces High Noon. That also forces Javelin Spin because the Orisa's getting her health completely chunked from that shield. Yeah, I mean, this is fine. Don't peel. 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 You see it? You cannot help this person. It is a gold Orisa. Your job to protect your team is to beat the teeth in on these guys right here so that they only have to worry about Bob Orisa. You know? Go in, smash these guys up, and then sit in the corner and block and pray that you live. That's your job. I mean, what a waste. You know? What a waste. What an absolute ever-living waste. You see that?
Yeah.
Look at this Baptiste. This guy's smoking a Cuban cigar. Look at this guy. Why do you think the Orisa didn't die?
Yeah,
you know, it's him, right? And then the Cassidy as well. Let's look at the Cassidy, right? So this guy just pops High Noon. Maybe this guy just whiffs. That's a lot of damage. It's like 400, 500 damage now. There you go. There's your problem, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you play the counter swap game on Azaria. Because if that's all you do, I legit knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming because if that's the game that you play. Like, that's the difference between you and Orisa, though. Like, if I'm playing Orisa here and this happens right here, let's go back to that exact same moment. If I'm playing Orisa here, I can't really push. You see this? I can't really push. I actually have the funny thing is I have ultimate here, but I actually cannot push because I don't have Javelin Spin because I'm so freaking slow with Fortify now that I actually just have to sit and hold the corner and pray that my backline doesn't die to the ram. I can't even Javelin you because it just Javelin you in deeper, right? I can't do anything. Like, I could just mess you up, but like I can't stop you from going past me. But you know, hey, if you're gonna punch me and let me build Javelin Spin, I'll take it. Yeah. I mean, that's Orisa's limitation, right? Is that, you know, I wouldn't describe Ramattra as mobile, but compared to Orisa, everybody's Usain Bolt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's keep going here. We can watch a little more. Any questions so far?
No, No, I think yeah. I think I get that my cooldowns need to be worked on more, like more
Yeah.
purpose on using
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, I think it's more of action than cooldown, right? Just something along those
Okay.
cycles, right? But then I think that the biggest adjustment is what you just said right there. Have a purpose.
Okay.
Have a purpose. Don't just use them. Have a purpose. What is it there for? What is it there for? And then, you can go back and look at it afterwards and be like, okay, was that the best purpose? Could there have been a better purpose? Like the vortex and the brick is a great example. I love that you have a purpose. I just wasn't sure if it was the best use of it, right?
Okay.
But the first step does have to be having a purpose, right? That's 100% it. That, and when given the opportunity, please don't chase the tank. And for crying out loud, find a corner.
Yeah.
Either one, really either one. Like you can do work here, you can do work here, you can even do work here as well. Like if they push you, they basically turn their backs to your back line. It's good. It's an option.
Okay. Yeah, I have trouble always defending. I feel like because
Just choose a corner. Just choose a corner and stick with it. Yeah, just stick with it. If you need to back up, it's fine. But you're giving up like a lot of space. Like look at this bat. This guy is a complete joker. Look at this guy. Just walking in, just chilling in, right? Right. And at the very least, you get at least. I mean, you should throttle this, right? Or this, like your choice, right? And the funny thing is you're not actually reducing the amount of damage you're taking either, because you're just standing in the open. So it's more offensive pressure and less damage holding a corner. You see that? I mean, that was just basically staying in the open. You had a purpose with your vortex. I'm fine with it. Corner. Frankly, I don't think you need to back off here even. Right? Screw this guy. Let him do his thing. Your job is to make sure she doesn't walk. He doesn't walk. Or she doesn't walk. Right? Don't give up space here. You're like, oh, I don't have Nemesis for it. Doesn't matter. Look at your HP. Close enough. Right? And you got a shield. You're good enough. You're fine. Don't give up more space. Hold the corner. Sure? Completely blown away that we didn't go for Winston, but I respect it. And look what the Winston did, right? This jackass is taken from your school of thought. Now he goes for your Lucio instead, but now look at that. That's if your Lucio isn't an idiot. Oh wait, is this actually Bella Blue? Now I feel bad.
I don't know.
Okay, it's a streamer. The first time I saw her, she was wearing a Hammond outfit, a Wrecking Ball outfit. It was hilarious. So yeah, I mean, this is the correct play. I think you're fine. I think that your Lucio's got the Spilo brain rot. I think. What was the purpose of the shield?
I guess I was trying to predict damage, but there's like nobody there, so like, there's no purpose.
And that's it, right? That's it. Yeah. We just need a purpose. We just need a purpose. Like, and the way to do it is just to slow it down a little bit. You know, like you might thinking like I don't have time to slow things down. Like we just die instantly. I don't care. Die instantly. Fine. I mean, we want you to build better habits with how you're using your cooldowns, which might mean that you might have to slow things down to an uncomfortable rate.
Okay.
Which might mean that you got to go in this situation here, and you don't shield. And you don't shield for a second. And you take too much damage, and then you have to shield. That's okay. You have to start the process of building those habits by slowing things down, right?
Okay.
It's like addressing push-up form by going slower than you think you have to. Yeah, you probably could go faster, but we don't want you to be better now. We want you to be better long-term. And that you start by slowing things down.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, look at that. Look what happens when you just let Winston do his thing. You know? Your team can handle it. Bam. Bam. No follow-up on this Winston dive. No follow-up. Because if you had gone back to this Winston, he still would have gotten the kill in the Kiriko. And instead, you would have had somebody else dead to the Ashe. Right? Or you would have had somebody dead to the Sojourn as well. Nice shot. Okay. Nice shot. Too far, frankly. Too far. This is too far. With where your team is holding. You see it?
Yeah.
Go back to the corners, especially because you're missing your Kiriko, right? So go back to the corner, reset, let somebody pick up the Kiriko, rinse and repeat. This is too far. Because you're fighting 3 people as 1, right? Let them come in, so you're fighting 5 for 5. Not only that, but forces your cooldowns, which, 13 seconds, right? It's a long time to wait without Vortex. What's the purpose of the shield?
Stop the damage coming in. But
Yeah. Are you using it right now?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think it was a good use of the cooldown?
Yeah.
I do
'Cause it's
too. I do
we're
too.
taking space, right?
Yeah, yep. Yeah, this is it. This is good, right? Like, I know it sounded like I was chastising you, but this is good, you know? Like, this is good, right? Like, there's a reason you're using the shield here. You're like, all right, I want to push that so I can poke. So you put the shield down, you put it out there. You could vortex this one right in the corner, too, to shoot as well. Let's see what you do. You decide not to use it, that's fine. But, like, that was good. Like, that forced a rotation. That forced resources. That now has caused an awkward split, right? Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay.
This vortex, what's the purpose?
I wanted to get the either the brig or the castle maybe.
Yeah, or both,
walk
right?
into it.
Or both,
Yeah.
right? Because the brig will go this way, the castle will go this way. You'll force a split, right? And then now you can push it with Nemesis. Again, there's intention behind this. I just don't waste time looking at the Winston.
Yeah.
You use the vortex. Use it. You did good. Like, this is good. Because do you see what's happening now? Where's the follow up to the Winston dive now?
Yeah, it's nowhere.
No, it's gone. It's gone. The only thing there is you just need to be a little bit more disciplined with hugging the corner. But you forced, what is that? You forced an armor pack, you forced regenerative burst, you forced flash, and also disruptor shot, I think, as well. Like, and you haven't really, if you played your HP a little bit better, it would have been even better. Now, the crucial thing here is you cannot turn around. You cannot turn around. You have to sit in this corner and play cover and try to keep this backline honest and use your annihilation to do so. Because if you go back, you will die to this backline. I promise you. You will die to this backline. You see it? The second you leave. The second you leave. And by the way, your Kiriko's dead either way. You did not help your Kiriko. And now you're like, oh, I want to control the backline, but now I can't. You see it? And there you go. You die to the backline. You pop annihilation here with your Mei, you guys win this fight. I promise you.
Okay.
Let's stop there with Ram. Let's take some notes and let's keep moving. What do you got to work on with Ram? Be as specific as you can.
Use cooldowns with purpose.
Cooldowns with purpose. Don't just use. Okay, what else?
Stick to corners, so don't take as much damage.
Corners cover use, really important, right?
Yep.
You just got to protect your armor. You got to protect your armor. Okay, what else?
Stop peeling for the tank.
Peeling. Trade with what's available. Priority on squishies when safe possible. Yep, that's it. Any questions?
Nope.
Okay, let's keep going. How much Winston do we got here? Reasonable amount? Yeah, we got a reasonable amount.
Yeah.
That's reasonable.
Okay.
Now, who told you should stop peeling as Winston? I'm curious. Is it just a friend, a teammate, another coach?
It was another coach. Yeah.
Who was it?
I don't know actually. There might have been like it was like an in-team coach. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Okay. Because that's probably my spider senses are saying that might be a thing. Now I know what you're doing here. I get this. I get this all the time. Why are you bubbling here?
I wanted to stop getting
healing.
Healing. Yeah. Sorry.
You see it? Here's a question. What's more valuable, the healing that you block, or the capability to shoot the Winston and then actually control the backline with your own bubble afterwards?
Well, the second.
You kind of get what I'm saying? Here's the thing. You know what the best way to cut off healing on a Winston is? Bubble his backline.
Okay.
You know? You bubble the Winston when you cannot bubble backline. That's the rule. You'll sometimes see that occasionally in pro play when the backline's positioned so far away that like the Winston can't stage there in time. So he'll bubble off the Winston because he can't get to backline. But that's the minority of cases, if that makes sense, right? And here, you don't even look. So you're just shooting Winston, which is like fine because there's nothing else really available. But as you're shooting Winston, I'd be flicking my camera. Okay, where? Oh, I want on this guy. You get this? Because this is the real threat. Because if you don't control this guy, he's going to kill somebody. Your DPS are doing it for you. But again, you're peeling. You see it?
Yeah.
Again, you're peeling. And it's not just that. Look what else happens here. This is your job. You see it? This is your job.
Yeah,
this is
he
your job.
gets free kills.
He gets free space, free kills. So this is like what you're scared of when we talk about like creating or controlling space. Is stuff like this. And that's your responsibility. See, this is protecting your team. That's forcing armor packs. That's forcing regenerative burst. That's, it was kind of, off by yourself. You don't actually finish the kill, but you didn't need to. You did your job. Okay. Really, really important. And you need to be thinking, obviously, again, not taking damage, please, right? Chill, reset. Where's backline? Where can I put pressure? Where do you think?
Right over where that, or like on cart. Because that's where most.
You could even jump here, right? Because then what can you do from here?
So I could stage better, and then I can go.
You can stage better. Map. So why is it staging better? What does that mean?
Better view of where everyone is.
Yeah, you get more information, and then you don't have to use your jump to engage, right? Because you can actually wait like 1 second, 2 seconds, then drop, and then you'll have your jump cooldown if you want to, right?
Okay.
So you could jump. Basically, here's the advantages and disadvantages. This is pretty important. Jumping gives you more damage, but it's higher risk.
Okay.
Because you can't always disengage. So what you do is, if you jump here, you lose the landing damage, but you have time and vision and safety so that you can drop and then immediately jump out afterwards. Regardless here, I agree. Whether it's card or jumping here, you need to control backline. Because, again, this backline isn't a threat. But you could kill them. You could kill them. You could stop card. You could make sure that they don't all, and you know what? Honestly, they kind of are a threat, right? Like, yes, they might not be able to control high ground, but if anybody peeks here, they're dead. If Bellapoo can't quite figure out the wall riding, she's dead, right? And that's your responsibility to deal with. I appreciate that you didn't use bubble there. That was good. So that then you can go for backline here. That's good. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess mechanically. I'm not gonna lie with you, but you did it. And by the way, you don't need to be scared of high noon if there's nobody else in your bubble. You see what I'm saying? Now I might still disengage at some point, but like if he shoots you, he's gonna break the bubble. The only time you should be scared of high noon is if there's another person in the bubble, because he shoots that person, breaks the bubble, then shoots you, and you're dead.
Okay.
It's the same thing with Ryan's shield. It's the same thing with all shields are kind of like that. But yeah, this is good. One other little detail here. I know I'm throwing a lot your way, so hang tight.
Yeah.
Be careful about all fire. It's exclusively useful at long ranges. Outside of that, it hurts your DPS because the time right here. You see this? You say you're not shooting.
Yeah.
And even the alt fire there again, don't do it. It charges a little bit faster, so it's okay in medium to long ranges, but up close, never. Always shoot.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Much higher DPS. Yep, much higher DPS. Okay. And it's also more ammo efficient as well. Good. This is good. This is like the first time we've seen that discipline. I can see the instincts kicking in. You're like, I can't help. There's a backline here. This is really good. Now, obviously, you gotta be really careful about your bubble timing here, because that's the key thing. You take so much damage if you don't have bubble there. But this is good. I know it's like, bro, my bubble just instantly melted. Like, what's the point, right? Here's the point, right? Look at what they want to do. Your Lucio is dead. I promise you, your Lucio is dead. Bam. Fan, Sojourn, Brig, and look at your HP as well. You see this? If you had just been a little bit more disciplined there, I actually think it would have been full HP. But you didn't take any damage.
Okay.
You didn't take any damage. And also the Sojourn railed you. I don't know if you saw that as well. So that's Hinder, Sojourn, Roll, Baptiste, Regenerative Burst, and all their attention, and you managed to keep most of your HP, right? And if you'd play this one a little bit better, you would have won the HP trade. See the Winston versus you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the other thing too is he's okay, we'll let it play. And now you can walk a little bit, do a little bit of damage, because you had your bubble well timed. It's a little risky to jump there without bubble, but it's all right.
Yeah, or tech bites or something. Maybe I thought.
Yeah, I understand. It was a risk, but it was worth it. Probably didn't need this. Probably would have just been patient with my team here. You're up 1, so just drop bubble here. Keep zapping, get your HP back, decide what to do from there.
Okay.
Just because you're up 1, right? I don't think you have to force this. But also, this is not a bad play. You're only up 1. If you want to guarantee the fight win with Primal Rage, I'm okay with it. Let's see those goated mechanics. Come on.
No, it's...
Use your jump. Use your jump. Use your jump. Use your jump. It like doubles your DPS almost because remember you're amplifying your landing damage, right? Landing damage, landing damage, landing damage, right? It's going to be a little bit harder, but it's important to do so. But honestly, nice job. This past fight has been really, really good for you. Good. Look at the zoning value here, right? Zoning and splitting off the Brigitte. Jump top, jump top, jump top. Why would you jump top here?
Better view of...
Better view? So then you can do what? What are you going to do from here?
Jump on a target.
Yeah, or drop.
Or drop, okay.
Or drop. The other thing with high ground too is it creates an off angle. You see this? What is the Brig going to put her attention on to? You? Lucio? Soldier? You know, she has to choose, right? You make her choose. Here, that's a primal rage monkey. Bad news, Bellevue is dead. She is gone. She is gone, and there's nothing you can do about it. But there was a world there where you could get a trade on that Brigitte. Okay, let's which obviously matters a lot here with the Recon test. Getting one pick goes a long way. Wait a second here. Oh no, never mind. Okay, I thought somebody got booped, but no. I don't even know if we can Recon test this actually.
Yeah, I missed it.
I mean, it's a good try. I actually am. I mean, honestly, like, you missed it, but, like, this is rough. I think this is pretty smart from you, actually. You wrapped around behind the BAP window and kind of bubbled around the angle. You see this?
Yeah.
This is really good. If you guys were going to win this fight, it was from this jump. This is actually really clever. I mean, it's not going to work, but, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a good jump. Very creative. Avoiding the main damage, being almost, like, Tracer-like in your approach. You see that? Very, very, very sneaky. Just to avoid the damage that you take. It's really good. Really good. Winston is a finesse tank. You know, that bubbles for your torp. It's fine. Winston is a finesse tank. Like, how can I get onto those squishies without using jump, or taking as little damage as possible, or landing directly on them with the element of surprise, or, you know, where, like what is the best target, right? It's very finesse. Now, when you don't have bubble here, you need to back up.
Yeah, okay. Oh,
that's okay. It happens. It's a risk. It's a risk, but he doesn't have bubble. So guess what this Winston cannot do? He cannot control your backline.
Okay.
Right? So if he cannot, it's not just killing you, he can't control your backline. Because if your backline peaks him, his HP melts like butter. So then, knowing that, what can you do with your bubble and your jump?
Go for his backline.
Go for his backline. Because what can you be confident of from your backline?
That they can deal with the Winston.
That they can deal with the Winston. There will be follow-up here. There will be follow-up. Now, if you jump here and there is no follow-up, then you have my permission to flame your team. But here, like, if you have HP here, do not isolate the Winston off with your bubble. Isolate the backline off. Get this backline right here. This isn't even a really dangerous jump because there's a little bit of distance between you and Reaper here. But this deals with a threat right here. Somebody dies here if you jumped here. I think it's Winston. And now, Winston's HP didn't even budge. Why? Because BAP's just pocketing him. And everyone's still scared to peek the Sojourn. And now you don't have bubble. So even if you wanted to dive, you got to be really careful because this is how you get killed. You see that? Look at that. Bam! Your HP just like melts, right? I mean, it was a good disengage. I'm glad you disengaged, but... And at this point in time, should you jump here?
Yeah, because I have bubble, right?
Right? Okay, but what else do you need to have a successful jump? Bubble? Look at the bottom left.
Health.
Health? Don't quite have it yet. And more than that... Do you see it?
What
would happen if you jumped? Where would your Tor be? Where would your Kiriko be?
Oh, out of sight. No sight line.
No sight line. On not just you, because often I would say about 50% of your jumps as Winston, your teammates won't be able to see you. But you know what they will be able to see? An enemy.
Yeah.
They'll be able to trade the monkey. They'll be able to shoot the Reaper, the BAP, right? Like, just think about the last fight. When we said jump the BAP Sojourn, we didn't expect follow-up from your team on the BAP Sojourn. We expect follow-up from your team on the Winston, on the Reaper, right? So if you jump here, where's the follow-up?
On the Reaper?
Barely, but you see, your team can't even currently see him right now. You see it? Look at your Torwin sight lines. You see this? So he actually can't see. So when you're talking about when do you want to dive, when do you want to dive? What are you waiting for from the enemy team in terms of positioning?
For your team to be able to see you?
Right. So where is that approximately? Draw the line. Where's the line?
Around this corner?
Yeah, right on this corner, somewhere on the payload. Get up to here, get to here, something like that. Something, right? Something. I have to do something. Now, if you're on the attack here, you would be here. You turn around, wait for your team to walk up to like right here, and then you jump, right? Your backline awareness is so important as a tank. I don't care if you're Ram, Zarya, Sigma. It chooses where you take engagements, your backline awareness. Because you're like, oh, well, my team should follow me. Well, yes and no. Because everyone has different things that they want to play for. Do you really want your Torbjorn playing right here? Probably not. I prefer him to be kind of poking from more of a distance, right?
Yeah.
So then let him pick where that needs to be. You know? Okay. Do I really want my Mei to push up with me, or do I want my Mei to play the choke and wall the choke, right? Like what will happen is your DPS and supports will pick positions that work best for them, and then your job is to find the best engaged spot from that position. And that applies to all things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking you're thinking about jumping here. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you're just going to be careful and bubble the enemy tank. But ironically, you thought about it. Don't even hesitate. Do not turn around here. Because you turning around means you get surprised by the Reaper, which means you bubble it, which means you lose HP, which means you lose ARB, which means you die. Don't do it. Don't turn around. Okay. Don't turn around. See, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. Wait, is he an idiot? Where did he go? No, he jumped over here. He's smart. Never mind. He's a genius. But you need to get the bubble off now. Why? Because they're now walking into your team's LOS.
Okay.
You see it? This is what we want to see. This is what we want to see. Now stay on that Reaper. Nice. Beautiful. Winston's jumped out. What should you do?
Go in. Right?
It's tricky, isn't it? Because who can your team follow up on right now? You see what I'm saying? It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. But you're like, oh, we got Torval. Like, I want to push. Like, maybe your team pushes here with you. I think if you do push here, I think you're probably okay. Because your team definitely is. Do you see how they change your positioning? You see this? They push up. So if you jump here, I think your team follows up. Because now their sight line is changed from here to here. So they will follow up off of your jump. So you know what? If you want to jump here, I'm game for it.
Oh, thinner.
Yep, this is fine. I would go deeper. I might even go deeper here. Oh boy. Get him. Oh, this is either you die or they die instantly. Nice.
Oh, I chased the Sojourn, I think, when I shouldn't have.
I think it's okay.
Well, it's my Kiriko.
Yeah, but your Kiriko should have followed in the first place. That's her problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't know when I watched this. I didn't know if that was my fault that the Kiriko died, and because of that, they kind of were able to.
No, I mean your team should have been walking forward to assist you with that. I mean, like any sort of pressure here is fine. I mean, was it a risk from you? Yes, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, that's why you're in. You know, that's why you're not GM. It was reasonable. You got the kill. You got traded. The Surgeon kind of, or Kiriko went for it. Okay. What's the play?
I was maybe I should have went on the Sojourn and bubbled her.
Maybe. Or if you're gonna bubble on the corner, bubble and shoot the squishies, right? Can your team follow up off of this? Kind of, sort of. It's tricky, right? It's tricky. I need you to control this Brigitte. I need you to control this backline, make them look at you, so that your team can deal with the Reaper, or your team can deal with the Winston. Now, you see how sneaky the Winston is? The Winston's jumping around, he's avoiding you, and he's finding ways to get on top of your backline without taking any damage.
Yeah.
Take note.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I think this is it. Okay, let's look at another code. Do you want to keep on the Winston train, or do you want to move on to some Sigma?
I think some Sigma, yeah, because I don't think I have any more Winston codes.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now. Yeah. Okay, so Winston, what needs to be worked on? I know we didn't look as much at Winston, but maybe there's some details here to keep an eye
on. Don't bubble Winston. Bubble his backline.
Look for backline trades generally. Again, very rarely do you peel. Consider your team sightline, right?
Yeah, consider team sightline. I was gonna say that
Choosing engages. What else is there? I think that was mostly it. Maybe alt fire a little bit.
Oh, mechanics. Jump. Use jump when ulting.
Use jump when ulting. And then mechanics. Alt fire pretty, or is bad in close range.
Oh yeah, that too.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Any questions?
No.
Okay, information overload, I know, especially with this many tanks. So if you get time to process all this stuff and you're like, oh crud, I wanted to ask this question, I don't think I fully understand that, then we can just send me a message. We'll revisit it. No worries.
Okay. For sure, I will if I do.
Let's get some Sigma. Which Sigma section do you want to look at here? Which code?
The Havana, I think it was. I played only Sigma on that one.
Perfect.
I think my Sigma isn't the strongest, honestly, so this might be my weaker tank.
That's all right.
But I'm trying to, because I used to only play Ram, so I'm going back now and trying to learn these other tanks because I know I have to.
Sure. So Sigma is basically just keep out consistent pressure while taking as little damage as you possibly can. The only real nuance with Sigma in terms of your positioning is you can consider yourself as somebody that can control 2 sightlines at once when necessary. So you can put yourself here, put pressure on main while shielding off an angle here. Now there's nothing really happening on an angle right now. So really all you have to think about is what is the best way that I can win this 5-man trade right here, right? And the first rule with Sigma is try to avoid letting your shield break, because the regeneration time is longer if you let it break, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So right here, keep an eye on that. Even if it's like 7 HP, whatever, just don't let it break. Don't let it break. The other rule of Sigma is when you're using your shift, do so, number 1, when there's attention on you, and do so, number 2, preferably in your cover in the Sigma trade, so that if he does use accretion on you, you can duck behind cover, right?
Okay.
What you've essentially done here is not only have you given yourself more HP, but you've allowed yourself to be a distraction for longer, right? Because everyone's just shooting you, and so you're kind of tanking still, right? You see it? Mm-hmm. Right here. You're still taking attention, and you're not even taking any damage. That's good. The one problem we're noticing now is kind of going back to our Winston. Who's fighting right now on your team?
Who's fighting? I don't know. Nobody?
Nobody. Nobody.
Yeah.
Right? Your Widow doesn't even have a sightline yet, right? Like, now, obviously, we're not talking about a Widowmaker brawling, but she doesn't even really have a good sightline right now. So the problem with this is not necessarily, it's obviously like this. You let your shield break, and you need to be a little bit closer to cover here and all that kind of stuff. But the major problem here is that you're using a lot of resources when your team doesn't really even have a sightline on you. And the reason why that's bad is because does your team have a sightline now?
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of, starting, but look at your resources. Look at your shield, and look at your shift. You see it?
Yeah, they're on cooldown.
They're on cooldown. Now, not on a long cooldown, but they are on cooldown. Whereas opposed to this Sigma has his shift and has 400 shield. And the difference has nothing to do with composition. Oh, he's running soldier versus... No, it has nothing to do with it. The difference is that Sigma was fighting as a unit versus you. Whereas you've been fighting it individually. So you know what you do here? You sit on card, and you poke, and you avoid taking damage, and you poke, and you poke, and you poke, and you check your team's position, and you go, okay, ready? 3, 2, 1, turn, and you start the trade. You understand?
Yes.
Even poke tanks play like dive tanks in terms of the timing of when you're shooting and when you're shielding. There are longer poke phases. Winston is very powerful and then very weak. Sigma's consistent pressure, but the consistent pressure still needs to have a good start and a good end, and you started before your team could help you.
Okay.
Because it's not free. Because now the Sigma's, you're in trouble, right? You're in real trouble, right? Your shield is completely broken. You've actually had to back off and give up space. And because you've backed off, now the Sigma's been able to walk forward. Because he's walked forward, he's controlled your backline. Because he's controlled your backline, he's killed your Widowmaker, and now he's pushed the Hans out of the angle. And this is a Sigma diff, not because you're bad with your mechanics, but because you've had no resources at the start of this fight, and he did. That's it. That's the only difference. That's the only difference.
Okay. That makes sense.
Because you even blocked the rock there, right?
Yeah.
Now, I would probably, at this point in time, be posturing, positioning a little bit more aggressively on the corner here to shoot backline, right? Because you need to trade his backline, remember? That's the rule. And then you could use accretion on here, or you could use accretion on him, or you could shield here, whatever. I think now you actually do have resources, and again, you're peeling and standing in the open, right? So I think this is like the perfect storm of all of your tank problems up to this point. Little too much attention on the enemy tank when you had backline right in front of you, check. Playing in the open, Ramattra first point Eichenwalde, remember? Check.
Yeah.
Wasting resources because you weren't quite exactly sure where your team was holding, check. And that's what we got. Mechanics, definitely an issue, but that'll get better with time. Don't worry too much about it. Practice makes perfect. But here, you could definitely control where you're holding. Where should you hold here? It's not easy, right? But where should you hold?
The left.
The left or?
On cart?
Or?
To the right?
I mean, yeah, really, it's genius, right? Left or right? Maybe cart. It's just brilliant positioning, honestly. I'm the greatest coach ever. But no, it's really just find a corner, please. I'm begging you, find a corner. That's it.
Yeah.
Good block. And here also really important that you shoot anything but Sigma when given the opportunity to. Because the more pressure you put on the DPS, the less damage they do to your team and to your shield. The less damage they do to your shield and your team, the more you win the Sigma trade. It's a lot like the Winston where oftentimes the Sigma trade is more about how accurate you are with your damage and your shielding on targets that aren't the Sigma. And this goes all the way to the professional level. If you can't reach anything but Sigma, shoot Sigma. If you can shoot anything but Sigma, shoot them.
Okay, so don't worry about Sigma shield too either then.
Yeah, not as much. Not as much. I mean, if there's nothing else to shoot, then yeah, Sigma Shield is great to shoot. But right now, like I look at this here, I want you here. You could drop your little shield here, and honestly, you could even swing here. This is back breaking right here from this angle. Because you shoot this here, they're gonna have to disengage out this way. This now isolates the Sigma, which means now he's 5v1ing doing what you were doing earlier, which means his shield breaks, he backs off, and you've created space.
Okay.
And then from here, you're like, all right, well, there's nothing I can shoot but Sigma. Okay, great. Then shoot the Sigma and win the HP trade. You know, use shift better than him, hit the accretion, you know, whatever. But yeah, it starts with this. Because if you take the Sigma trade here, I mean, first off, his DPS still have angles, yours don't. But he can also just shoot right past you. And look what he's doing, right? He's shooting right past you. Or looking for opportunities that can shoot right past you. And he's even bouncing on your backline, right? So it's like I even like this, right? Like the way that you do it is really bad. But if you could place shield really tight on you and shoot pylon, that's a big deal, right? That's a really big deal. That pylon goes down, that's really good. Your only mistake was that obviously you just over shielded it a little bit. So then he walked through an accretion to you. Get it down, get it down. Yes, yes, nice. Don't just accretion, don't just accretion. Remember, it's the same rule as Vortex and Shield. Have a purpose. If you want to push with accretion, fine. If you want to throw accretion and roll the dice, see if you can hit the soldier, that's fine. Have a reason. Don't just throw it.
Okay.
Yeah, you're down a bunch here. I think you have to back off. Yeah, it's like you were down too many at that point. Sigma is a great example of you don't make any egregious, obvious errors, and yet you're throwing. Yeah. It's all the little pressures that you're missing out on, and you're just taking a little bit too much damage because you're staying out in the open. Good, 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 good. You see what happened there? You shoot BAP, BAP freaks. BAP can't do anything. So then you're like, all right, turn on the Sigma, hit the accretion. Sigma dies because BAP's doing nothing, right?
Okay.
Good. In fact, you actually didn't even need to turn on the Sigma there. It's fine that you did, but you could have just dropped your shield and kept controlling this backline here and just trust that your team would deal with the Sigma, because they will. You sit here with accretion, shield, and your shift. This backline is cooked. They can't do anything for like 9-10 seconds.
Okay.
Sigma is really, really good at controlling squishies for long periods of time. Winston is very dangerous, right? But he can't stay there for very long. Sigma stays for forever. Just forever. Is all this making sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let's go for another fight or two if you have the time for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now this is where Sigma starts to get hard, because you're like, I can't reach anything. What do I do? Okay, maybe they just come to you. Oh, that would have hit. That
Oh, no.
sucks.
I know.
That's okay. That's okay. You guys win. You guys win. Okay. Now this is the challenge. Is there a good corner that I can hold where I can access backline? And if the answer is no, okay, then where do I think the backline will come to? Where can I hold space that's meaningful? Because this is the crazy part. You're like looking at this and you're like, oh, I should stay with my team to shield, protect my team. It's not the end of the world here, but you got to ask yourself, I wonder if I could just control this angle here instead. Because if everybody from the enemy team comes this way, that's not scary. You know what's scary? People coming from this way and coming from this way. Or shooting your team from this angle. You see this? That's scary.
Yes. Okay.
So you gotta think a little bit outside the box here. And see, I like this. I think this is really smart from you. Because this means that there will be no nuance from how the enemy team attacks your team. It will be very much on the nose, very obvious. The Doomfist will not be able to surprise anybody. There will be no surprises in Bossing Say, right? Everything will be very predictable in how they approach because you're controlling this angle. And this is Sigma's strong point because you've got corner, you've got cover, your team can see you, your supports can see you, and you're playing your optimal range, which is like right about this, right? This is perfect range for Sigma, right? This is great. Hug that corner. And then if the Doomfist leaves, what should you do now?
Go for his backline.
Go for his backline, right. I would not even use my shield on my team here, frankly. I'd drop my shield. I'd rotate to this next corner here and start pushing the backline. Don't push in, just hold the corner. Okay. Make it a blender. Make it a blender. You're giving space. You should not. Yeah. You're giving space to try and stop them from taking space, is the irony. You see that?
Yeah.
Because you can't stop the Doomfist. That's the thing. Is like you might be able to get a rock here, but you're giving him space and then giving him more space because you're chasing. And then immediately that void is filled. Immediately that void is filled. Look at the Iliari. So you're going to shield the Iliari, but you should be killing the Iliari. So we're going to retake. Good. Don't go back. Don't go back. Don't go back. This, you know what? You know what? Why? Because this is convenient. Mm-hmm. This is easy, right? It's Iliari. It's not Doomfist. It's not Tracer. It's not. It's just. It's a nice juicy squishy that you can really bully. You know. You need to be a bully. You need to be like. You need to be targeting all the people. Like, I can control you. You know. Yeah. I can ruin your life. I can make you demand help from your Ana. You know. This is like that's such a dice roll. You know. Like. Even the tank trade is kind of messy, right? Because he can punch you out of a lot of stuff. You know. And the big thing here as well is, again, is there's like this eternal dance between cover with you and just standing in the open. So you always take more damage than you need to. And then, oh my gosh, this fight's lost.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you hit a flux here, you guys are in serious trouble. It feels so stressful, you know? Like, you see how stressful this feels? And it feels like so hard to reach everything. It's like it takes like a marathon to get to anybody. Now you're getting shot in the back because they're all on the angles. Like, I could honestly say there's zero chance you guys should have won that fight. There's zero chance you guys should have won that fight. All right. All right. Now, surely we stuff. Good try. See, it's funny because my innards are melting when you do things like that previous fight, but I hear you exhaling every time you miss an accretion. You know?
Okay, no.
It's fine. Like, you know, like, who cares? Like, don't worry about the mechanical stuff. It'll come.
All right.
Make good choices. This is a good choice, right? This is you found the person to bully. You found the angle to bully, right? Heck, I don't even mind the flux. Maybe a little bit early. I just wish you didn't go to cart, right? Like, don't go to cart. Flux, and then just stay here, right? I'm okay with that.
I was just kind of scared that they would destroy me, but
they're not going to, because you know what's going to happen? You have a corner, and then if you get in trouble, you get punched, and then you shield, and you back up and you shift, and then you're going to be a damage sponge in front of your team, right? Okay. That's the key thing. Always ask myself, is there follow-up to me getting punched around? Is there follow-up?
Okay.
Where's my team? You're noticing there's like a lot of principles here that carry over from tank to tank, right?
Yeah. Nice,
Grecian. Nicely done. Yeah, bullier. Don't worry about him. He's used his punch on your team, which means that you're free to go do this. You see it? He's out.
Yeah.
You know? Now, you did force him out a little bit faster. Nice shots, but, man, go bully somebody else. Don't bully the fast kid, you know? Yeah. You know, like that son of a gun runs too fast, you know? That's fine. There was nothing else to shoot. You shot the Iliari out. Go shoot tank. Nice. All right, go bully. Who are you gonna bully? Break pylon, and then I don't want to bully Tracer. Freaking fast kid, right? Go left.
Yeah.
Sit right here on this corner and just bully. Now, you might be thinking, okay, I think we're throwing with where the card is, and I think you might be right, but you know what? Screw it. Let's just try it.
Okay.
Sure? Yes. Sit here. Do not back up. Do not back up. As soon as you back up, you're dead. Okay, actually, let me clarify. You either commit fully to the backup all the way out, right, with where the card is, or you need to stay. No hovering in between.
Yeah. I think what I thought was like I saw the card and I was like, oh, we're not pushing card at all, and so I wanted to back up.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I understand.
Yeah.
All right, you got raid bossed. It's fine. All right, last fight here. Let's make this one pretty. Cover. Use payload. Good. Don't do it. Remember, there will always be a response to this, and the response is here. You need to make sure that this Hanzo has a shield shoved down his gullet. You need to make sure that this is a shield here, and then you're pushing forward here to control this here, right? This is where Sigma is really hard as a dive tank. It's not versus the dive tanks necessarily. It's because you just shut down all the follow-up, right? This Doomfist wants you to do what you're doing. This Doomfist wants this. Because now, you see, you're just running around like a chick with your head cut off. You're not fast enough for this. This is value. Especially if you really focus on your mechanics here. It feels bad, I know. But it's good. The responsibility is here. You need to do, if you had been here literally 20 seconds ago, this fight goes entirely differently. Okay, so let's take some notes. What do you need to work on with Sigma?
Focus on the back line and not so much
controlling backline
on the
possible.
tank.
Anchor tank positions on a corner. Playing your range. Constant pressure. Mechanics. Don't let shield break. I think that was mostly it. Like, there was a couple other details as well, but I think that's the main mechanical thing I'd put emphasis on. Okay. Anything else that you would add, or do you have any other questions?
No, that's it, I think.